Kitty's Micro Solutions, innovating your digital world.
Welcome back to the deep dive. If you're a business owner, you probably know the feeling, right? Trying to find software that actually fits how you work, instead of having to bend your whole operation to fit the software. Today, we're cracking open the source material on Kitty's Micro Solutions, KMS. They're based in Hyderabad, India, and it really seems like they've built their whole business on solving that exact problem.
Exactly. And our mission today, well, it's less about just reading their marketing stuff and more about understanding the strategy behind this kind of hyper-specialized software. We've got quite a bit of source material here detailing, their comprehensive offerings. It covers customized accounting, management software, and even full digital presence solutions. So we need to really distill what makes their approach stand out, and crucially, how they manage to deliver for such, vastly different industries, all from one place.
That really is the core question, isn't it? Because when you look at the broader software market, most providers are aiming wide. Generic ERPs, general accounting systems. KMS seems to just flip that completely. They dive deep, really deep into specific business segments.
Yeah, it's the difference between buying a jacket off the rack, one size fits all, versus getting something properly tailored, made just for you.
Yeah.
KMS doesn't just offer retail software. They offer software that uses the specific language, the specific workflows of that industry niche, and that presumably cuts down the time and cost you'd normally spend on customization a lot.
Okay, let's talk about those niches then, because they really hammer home just how specialized they get. Take the restaurant industry. That's notoriously complex, right? Fast-paced, high demands.
Oh, absolutely. And for restaurants, they seem to provide a whole ecosystem. It's not just about billing. Their solutions manage, the chaos behind the scenes. Things like tables management, waiter screens, kitchen screens, and the really critical piece, the KOT system. That's the kitchen order ticket.
Ah, the KOT.
Yeah,
oh, right.
Yeah. For anyone not familiar, that KOT system is vital. It's that instant message, digital or printed, that goes straight to the kitchen or the bar. It details the order precisely, helps ensure accuracy, speeds things up. It's central.
Okay, that sounds like a huge help for smoothing out service friction. But then how do they pivot? How do they go from that kind of high-speed, service-focused world to something, structurally slower, maybe more data-heavy, like real estate?
Well, the transition seems pretty seamless because the core philosophy stays the same. It's about integrating the essential operational needs. So for real estate, KMS provides tools for displaying plots online, managing appointments, and really crucial stuff like tracking, visiting customers who came, when, who they saw, plus handling complex customer complaints and follow-ups. It's software built around, tracking those long sales cycles and managing physical assets.
Right. And then there's probably the most, let's say, sensitive and complex environment they tackle, hospitals. Trying to run a hospital on generic software must be, a nightmare. Every bit of data could be linked to really critical decisions.
And this is where that vertical integration concept really shines, I think. Their hospital solution covers the whole operational spine, basically. Doctor appointments, prescription tracking, coordinating lab tests, and managing the difference between inpatient and outpatient care. The strategic edge here seems to be solving the data silo problem,
Yeah, where different departments can't see each other's info.
Exactly. Instead of separate systems for scheduling, billing, the lab, KMS aims to unify that data. So when a patient checks in, their whole history, their required next steps, it's all immediately visible across departments. That integration, that's the premium service KMS is really selling there.
Okay, but that immediately raises a practical question, doesn't it? Building and then maintaining so many highly specialized integrated systems, that's got to be incredibly expensive compared to just offering one generic platform. How does KMS make that work financially? Or are these solutions really only aimed at bigger companies that can afford that bespoke cost?
That's a really sharp point. The sources do suggest their model supports both customization and prepackaged solutions. So by selling something prepackaged, like, say, KMS Apartment or KMS Library, they can spread that development cost over multiple clients within that specific vertical. But the specialization itself acts as a kind of value add. And for those high volume sectors, like the last one you mentioned, the queue systems for places like banks, hospitals, government offices, the efficiency gains from a specialized tool probably outweigh the initial cost pretty quickly. They're targeting those efficiency gaps in really crowded places.
Okay, that clarifies the why behind the specialization. Let's pivot now to the delivery, how they actually get it to the client. So once a business commits, KMS offers two main ways to run the software, offline versus online. Let's start with offline. In this age of the cloud, Why would a business deliberately choose to be disconnected?
Well, the source material gives some pretty compelling reasons, mostly around operations and security. The big benefit of running their accounting management software purely offline is total control, plus speed, reliability, all without needing the internet. For some clients, maybe in areas with shaky connectivity or industries like finance needing maximum security, keeping data private on the local system is just non-negotiable.
So it's not just about liking control. It could be about basic operational resilience. If the power flickers or the internet goes down, the core business functions, billing, inventory, payroll, they keep running on the local machine.
Yeah.
We also see this reliance on local systems for things that are heavily regulated, right?
Precisely. All their offline solutions, like KMS BCY or KMS Milky, seem to focus heavily on essential compliance, particularly GST compliance. For businesses in India, the goods and services tax is a huge deal, requires detailed tracking, reporting. So an offline system that guarantees the compliance locally, quickly, securely, well, that's essential for many small and medium businesses.
But doesn't choosing a purely offline model risk becoming, obsolete? If industry standards suddenly shift towards API integrations or real-time data exchange or maybe government-mandated e-invoicing, how do they future-proof these isolated systems?
Yeah, that's the tightrope they have to walk. KMS seems to address this by focusing the offline solutions on core, reliable transaction needs. They're built for consistency. The trade-off for that extra security and control is naturally reduced real-time integration capability. But they also list examples like KMS Rental and KMS Church. That suggests that if your workflow is fairly static and you need intense local data control, offline is still a very viable, secure option.
Okay, all right. Let's contrast that now with the call of the cloud, the online solutions. This seems aimed squarely at accessibility and scale. What does moving to the cloud unlock for a business using KMS?
Flexibility, mostly, and collaboration. Cloud-based storage means you can manage things anytime, anywhere. You get multi-user access across different locations. It shifts the focus from purely local security to, absolute accessibility. The core features here are things like real-time updates, automatic offsite backups, and integrated reporting and analytics, the kind of tools that help leadership make faster, smarter decisions based on current data.
Right, so the online environment is better for dynamic growth, maybe geographically spread out teams. The examples here include KMS Restaurant and KMS Q, which suggests industries needing multi-location oversight naturally lean towards online.
And this actually leads to my favorite little insight from the sources, their adaptability. KMS School is explicitly listed as both an offline and an online option.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It shows the technology structure itself is flexible. It can adapt to what the client actually needs. Maybe they need high availability for admissions and parent portals, so online. Or perhaps they prefer absolute security and local control over sensitive student financial records, so offline. The delivery model isn't a limitation. It's presented as a strategic choice.
Yeah, okay, so once you've got that operational backbone sorted out, whether it's running offline or online, you still need a front door for your business, right? A public face. And KMS doesn't just stop at the management software, they actually build a digital identity around it.
They absolutely get that in today's economy, your software is tied directly to your market visibility. It has to be. So their web services kind of transition smoothly from that back-end system to the customer-facing presence. This includes full business e-commerce development.
What's actually involved in that e-commerce package?
Right.
It can't just be some template site if it's supposed to integrate properly with their specialized software.
No, it looks like custom development, built to handle secure payment gateways, efficient product management, mobile-friendly layouts, of course, and critical SEO optimization. The key thing seems to be that the digital shopfront is designed to link up seamlessly with the KMS accounting and inventory software running behind it, providing that kind of end-to-end management from the first click right through to fulfillment.
And what about businesses that don't need a full online shop? Maybe corporate clients, consultants, or even personal portfolios.
For them, they offer professional website development focused on modern responsive design.
Okay.
Yeah, the emphasis there is on the essentials: speed, security, and a really good user experience, or UX. It's about making sure the brand's online presence is fast, secure, professional, building credibility that matches the specialized software running their operations.
This all sounds pretty comprehensive, but bespoke software development has this terrible reputation sometimes. Vendors vanish, support dries up right after launch. What's KMS's commitment on the back end for support?
Well, their stated commitment to support is actually pretty explicit and sounds impressive. They promise complete ongoing support and maintenance. They state very clearly that the service doesn't end after delivery, which, in the world of customized software, is a really crucial promise.
Why is that promise so important, strategically speaking?
Because custom solutions just need custom care, right? They commit to troubleshooting, feature upgrades, data security patches, comprehensive training. Think about it. If you've invested heavily in specialized software, the last thing you want is for some regulatory change, like, say, an update to the GST rules to suddenly break your critical systems. KMS basically commits to being that continuous maintenance team, allowing the client to just focus on their actual business.
Okay, this brings us nicely to what I agree is probably the most defining strategic piece in all the source material. Everything we've discussed, the specialization, the flexibility, that commitment to long-term support, it all seems to be underpinned by this single, quite strict business philosophy, the no offshoring policy.
Yes. And that's a really powerful statement in today's global software market. KMS states quite emphatically that they will not outsource or use offshore resources. All projects are handled by their 100% Indian-based in-house team of skilled professionals, rooted right there in Hyderabad.
Which flies directly in the face of conventional wisdom, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That usually dictates chasing cost savings through global labor markets. Why would a domestic, Indian-based software company actively choose not to use potential cost savings from offshoring, even to external teams within India?
They lay out a pretty direct rationale. It seems to be based purely on risk management and quality control. They argue that keeping all development in-house ensures, well, maximum quality, security, and consistency every step of the way. By keeping the team local, they believe they guarantee direct communication, faster response times, and just better accountability.
And they tackle the financial aspect head on too, right? They basically say the perceived cost advantage of offshoring often just dissolves when problems crop up.
Absolutely. They assert that the disadvantages, the communication barriers, cultural differences maybe, time zone issues, loss of direct control, these often outweigh the perceived savings. There's a brilliant line in the sources essentially saying, software is only cheaper if it actually works.
Oh, good point.
Right. If poor quality means you have to redevelop it, the client ends up paying way more in the long run anyway.
So that makes the no offshoring policy more than just a process choice. It's strategic positioning. It's setting themselves apart from commodity software providers. It's an assertion that quality and guaranteed accountability are the real long-term value drivers. And it's about client visibility too, presumably.
Exactly. Clients get full visibility into who the developers are, the quality of their code, because they're dealing with a known, localized team. This model positions KMS less like a vendor and more like a long-term technology partner, focused entirely on minimizing future risk and maximizing data security and control for the client.
Okay, so to try and summarize everything we've unpacked today, KMS provides these hyper-specific, vertically integrated software solutions. They really speak the exact language of their clients, whether that's running a restaurant, a hospital, or even managing a church library. They serve those needs through flexible delivery models, either resilient offline systems or highly accessible online ones. That's backed up by extensive web services and, crucially, long-term support. And the whole enterprise, based in Hyderabad, is fundamentally anchored by this strategic, quality-focused, no offshoring development and support model.
I think the key takeaway is recognizing that any kind of customization inherently carries long-term risk. KMS seems to be trying to mitigate that risk by pairing that hyper-specialization with guaranteed localized accountability. So the final thought to leave with you is this. If quality, security, and consistent local support really are guaranteed by this strict policy, does this domestic development model fundamentally change how we define value? Especially when a business is trying to calculate the true long-term cost of customized software solutions. Or perhaps is this level of guaranteed quality simply becoming an essential requirement in today's increasingly regulated and, frankly, risk-averse digital world? Something for you to maybe ponder next time you're looking at a big software procurement decision.
That's a great thought to end on. Thanks for guiding us through this really fascinating deep dive into their strategy.
Thank you for watching this video. If you like this, please follow, like, share, and subscribe.